Hi guys, so welcome. It's been a while. Who missed me? All right, I want to quickly run through this logo. Let's look at it. Let's take a really close look at this logo. It's called the Aqua Logo. I got this logo from the internet a couple of months ago, and I really love the logo because it had like a very simplistic look and feel. While also looking very like having a very should I say effective feel about it. The logo is just about aqua, which everybody knows. I mean, if you don't know, well, aqua means water. So we are looking at the AQUA, and in the Q they did like this creative thing where they turned it to like an aquarium, a mini aquarium. So that is actually the catch for me in this logo, how simple it feels and looks, and then that Q, highlighting that mini aquarium inside of it. So this is the catch for the logo. So how are we going to achieve this in CorelDRAW? Well, to achieve this in CorelDRAW, first thing we need to do is we need to create our own text. All right, so we are going to create a new page. In this case, I'm going to create a page 2, so I'll click on the plus sign down here. I'm using a pen for the first time, so if we are encountering any difficulties, just know it's because of that. So we hit the plus sign here and we come to page 2, and on the page 2 we are going to type our text. So we're going to select our text. This should not take us more than 5 minutes. It shouldn't take us more than 5 minutes. So we'll select our text, we hit on this, and then we hold our caps lock and we'll do AQUA, right? AQUA. Now for the AQUA text, just make it bigger a bit. Just grab it from the corners and just drag it out a bit, like so. And then if you look at the logo from page 1, you notice it's kind of like spaced out. So let's go back to page 2 and space it out. But to space it out, we are not going to do that manually. To space this logo, this text out, we are going to use the shape tool, which is like this tool, this arrow that has like pointing towards a node. We are going to select that shape tool, or use it, or hit the F10 button. You can hold the function F10 if yours doesn't work when you call up the F10. So you select the shape tool, and then you come here. You notice this like these handles around it, and then you grab this one and you drag it, and it spaces it out a bit. So I think this is just about enough. Now we are not going to use this font because I don't think this font is as effective as I would like. Pardon the background noise. I don't think this is as effective as I would like, so we would use a font that has a similar feel to this. You can see the Q right here. It has a very open hole around it, inside of it, and so we would want to do something like that on our font too. It is actually quite easy to also trim out this one here and work with it, but we're not going to try to stress to do that. Also the A, at this point I wouldn't want to use the A too because of the stress factor. I would just want to achieve this in a very simple way. So let's go back and check this and come back here again. So let's see if we can use a font that has similar characteristics to the one we have there. My first guess would be Montserrat, so let's try Montserrat. MONTS, yeah. Press enter. Okay, so I have just this Montserrat font, and I think I'm going to use it. It looks a bit thicker than this one, but I think we're going to work with it. Let me close the gaps a bit. You hold the same shape tool and you pull it in. Now at this point, I think we've got everything sorted out. The only things that are missing right now, or the only thing we need to do right now, is if you look at the A, you notice the A's don't have that bridge, right? It doesn't have that bridge that is that divides it. So we need to take away the bridge. So we'll come back here, we select this. Now we can actually do that, but why waste time? Let's do something else. So instead of using AQUA, let's think of another letter that actually looks like an A. I mean, when you flip it the other way around. I'm talking about V. So you could select this and replace it with a V. You notice that's like practically what we need. And so if you do a VQUV, that's like an AQUA flipped, right? So how do we now flip the V's to like become an A? It's simple. We are going to break the text apart. We're going to make them all stand separately right now. And you notice how nice the Q is with the hole inside of it, so everything looks perfect. So to break this thing, we're going to select this text and press Ctrl K, or we could go to our object menu. Under object, you come down, you scroll over, you see this break VQUV apart. You see the shortcut there, Ctrl K. So let's use the shortcut. So we'll select this and we'll do Ctrl or Command K. Alright, so we'll do that, and then the V's are standing alone. So you select the first V, hold your shift and select the last V to make both of them selected, since all the text are now separated from each other. All the words, all the characters are separated from each other. So you select both V's, and then you go to your properties bar, which is this third bar here. The first one is the menu bar, the second one is the standard bar, the third one, the properties bar, where it displays the properties of any object you select. You go there and then you look for the mirror, and you look for mirror vertically, which is to flip the object from top to bottom, and you hit it and it flips the object. So here we have an A, right? So that's a very, very simple method. Rather than try to cut through the bridges, we just use our V's and flip them vertically, right? So we get our AQUA. So I think it's almost set. So let's look at what we have in the page one again, and here we'll see that okay, the A's and the U, they have this kind of practically the bridge or something, like it feels like it's extended a bit downwards. So how do we achieve this on our own logo? Seeing as ours is really straight, how do we achieve this? We are going to draw a line. I think at this point we are going to draw a line. Let's use a line. We're going to introduce a line. So come to this place here, the fourth or the fifth tool. Mind you, I'm using CorelDRAW 2021. If you're using any version of CorelDRAW, I think all the tools we are using here, you would probably still find them in those versions of CorelDRAW. So let's go with this. To achieve that, we have to introduce a line. So you just select, come down to your freehand tool here, click on it and select it. Now to create a line with your freehand tool is quite easy. All you just need to do is click somewhere, then just move your mouse without clicking, move your mouse without clicking, then click somewhere else. And that is your beginning and your end point. You created a line. So, but we're not going to do it like that. We're not just going to do it like that. So if we click somewhere here, let's say we'll click here, we'll just click one place and then we'll move it. But while you're moving your mouse without it touching, without clicking it, while you're moving it, hold your shift down. When you hold your shift down, it's going to straighten the line, and it can also help you create perfectly angular lines, like 15-degree angles if you want to. So, but in this case, we need something really flat, like something on a straight line. So drag it and make sure it crosses over both of them, and then click again. And there you have your straight line. So with this line, we are going to move it to our desired position, and I think our desired position is let's see. Okay, let's take it up a bit. Here, I think this place looks nice. So if we move it to this point, we've generated a line that just cuts across it, that just gives us our ideal position for the logo, right? You can see here ideal position, and for creating those notches that we need. So how do we create them? We are going to go down here and introduce a new tool called the smart fill tool. So under the interactive fill tool, I think the last tool on your tools, this is your tools box. So the last tool on the tools box, we go to the interactive fill tool, we click on the tiny arrow there, and we expose the other tools under it. So we select the smart fill tool. And what the smart fill tool does is it helps you generate new shapes from where there are intersections of lines and shapes. From where there are intersections of lines, shapes, objects, it creates a new shape from any enclosed area that it can find. Any enclosed area between lines, outlines, objects, it can help you generate a new shape. So right now, where this line crosses into this A, we will click in the middle there. And also from the properties bar, mind you, you can also specify the fill options you want. Take for example, if you do not want the objects to fill a color, you can tell it not to have a fill. So you can say no fill. If you want it to have a color, you can say specify, and then here, over here, you can specify what color you want for your fill, right? So if I specify red, I could go to red and say, okay, always fill my newly generated shapes with red. And if you don't want an outline, you can say no outline. So no outline. All right. So just give me a red fill, no outline. So right now we've drawn a line and we've drawn this. So let's generate the middle. Let's generate that area. So let's generate that area. So we click here, and we've generated this place. Then we move towards the other end, and we click here as well, and it generates a fresh shape, a triangle-like shape. You see that? So this shape is actually what we need. But it's not just complete. We are not just going to generate the shape. We need to combine it with the A, because this is an A right here. So we need to generate it. We need to combine it with the A to form that thing. So we'll select this box, then hold Shift and select this A or this inverted V, whichever one you want to call it. Select both of them, and then we go to the properties bar again. And this time around, we locate the shaping tools and we use the Weld, which is like the first tool on the shaping tool. We use the Weld to join them together. So you click on Weld and it becomes one, right? So we select this one as well. Same thing, hold Shift, select this one. Now you set this first shape you select is going to weld into the second shape. Take the properties and become one with the second shape. So we go there again, we move towards this place and we weld. So the red welds into the black shape and they become one, right? And at this point, this is no longer a text. It's now just a regular vector shape. It's no longer a text as this one is and as this one is. These ones are still text, but these ones are just regular shapes because you've actually merged it with a different shape. So it's no longer a text. And we are not bothered about it because I think we are actually done with it for now. So we move this same line, we drag it down, and we repeat the same process here, moving it down here for the U. We just select our smart fill and we generate the area here, and then we also weld it with the U, and that is it. It gives us that same shape as well. So right now we've achieved the AQU, the AUA. Can delete the line. The lines are no longer useful. The line is no longer useful for us. So you can see that we have similarities right now. We have the A looking like that with the notch, the U and the A also. We've actually generated those. So what is left for us now is generating the water inside of the aquarium, the Q. But I believe that at this point you would have an idea or two about how we're going to go about it. But even if you don't, no problem. Let's move. So we can grab, it's a very simple way of doing this would be to repeat the same process we just did right now. Introduce a shape, create it within this area, bring our smart fill and generate those areas. And that is what we're going to do. So let's select like a circle, because if you look at the water, let's try to break down the shape. This looks like a little bit of troubled water, right? So yeah, a circle can do that. So we can select our circle tool, for example, which is called the ellipse here. Select the ellipse and then come here and draw. Now remember, if I did not mention this before or did not stress on it before, I want to stress on it now. When you want to create anything using the smart fill, you must make sure there is an intersection of those shapes, otherwise it might not create the desired shape you're looking for. There must be an intersection. You notice how the line crossed into this V for us to be able to achieve that notch at this area. So the same way, if you want something you want to generate a shape from somewhere, make sure that that shape is crossing into other shapes or it has a boundary around it. So now that we've drawn this circle, we can just pull it all the way down here. Notice how the circle is intersecting a bit. You can decide to do it if you want to be more perfect. I don't think I'm going for perfection right now. If you want to be more perfect, you can actually have the circle touch the exact walls of the text. But it can't be too perfect, so let's just have it this way. The most important thing is that it is actually intersecting, crossing the hole between the circle or inside of the circle. So at this point, the next thing we want to do is, you can see with your mind's eye, if you look at this with your mind's eye, you could practically see, just paint this place bluish with your eyes. You can see that there's water already here. So this whole area looks like water in the jar or something. So now to shape the circle, we need to select it and then we'll press Ctrl Q to destroy it. Now the reason why we're pressing Ctrl Q to destroy this, or go to towards the property bar while it's selected and click on convert to curve, is because we want to be able to freely shape the circle. If you don't convert it to curves, that is, if you don't turn this from an ellipse shape to a curve shape, you might not be able to work on it as freely as you like, and you might not be able to achieve this twisted dancing shape here. So to do that, you select this one, you press Ctrl Q, and you've broken or you converted it to curve. So now if you double click on it or select your shape tool, you notice how the nodes are all standing up. So right now you can select maybe 2 nodes and pull it up, you see. Now you can create your water effect. You could decide to bend this one more. You can also do the same thing with this. You could decide to leave this like this. something like this. So this looks like troubled waters too. So this looks cool. Now the next thing you want to do is, like I said, some might say we should maybe bend this to follow. I don't know. I don't think so. Let's just leave it the way it is. It looks cool like this too. Or maybe we just need to twist this place in a bit. Alright, fine. Let's not disturb it too much. Let's leave it this way. We're trying to achieve it as quickly as possible. So selecting this one, or not, rather going back here, we're going to select our smart field tool. So when we grab our smart field tool, we come down here, we click inside of this box, and inside of this edited shape, we click here to generate that shape there, and also click here to generate this area. Now we've generated two areas. If I move this out and move this out, so you notice we've actually generated two separate objects, but there is a third shape there, and we need to get rid of the third shape. Now in CorelDRAW, when you generate new shapes, by default they come on top of the other shapes. So right now we need to select the one that is behind. We need to select the shape that is behind this red object. How do we select that initial shape that is behind it? We hold alternate and click on it. When you hold alternate and click on it, when you hold alternate and click on the shape, rather than select the one that is in front, it will CorelDRAW CorelDRAW will select the one that is behind it. So that is what we did. So you can press delete, you can hit your delete to take that one out. So at this stage, or at this point, what we need to do now is to change the colors of our objects, this one and the other one. Change the colors to match water, right? So we'll go back to page 1. We could grab our what is it called, eyedropper tool, and just sample the color of the top layer of water. Go to page 2 and just pour it here. Click here, and then we could do the same thing again. We'll go back to page 1. We will grab the eyedropper again and pick this one here, and let's pick the darkest sides, because you notice the water looks like it has some bright and dark sides. So let's pick the darkest areas, darkest spots, something like here, and go to page 2 and pour it. How did this move here? Let's shift this. So we pour it here, right? So you can notice, you see that it has like these different shades, right? But it doesn't really look very water-like, though if you zoom out it looks cool. So what do? Let's just apply a little finishing touch to the water, this one below. Let us kind of like mix it up a bit with some light blue as well. So select this one at the base, this one, the base of the water. Then we are going to introduce a new tool called the mesh fill. So under the smart fill, select the tiny arrow. Notice the third tool. There's a third tool there called the mesh fill. Select the mesh fill, and on the mesh fill, we are going to highlight some of the meshes. Now, when you want to work with the meshes, normally what I do with the meshes, you can actually use meshes to work on the shape of an object and shape it to something else. But what I normally recommend you use mesh fill to do is to change colors, right, or to mix colors. So like in this case now, I will highlight two meshes here, the ones in the middle like this, and then I'll just hold Control. When you want to mix colors in CorelDRAW, you hold Control and you click on the color you're trying to mix, and it will mix up with the original color. So when I hold Control, I'll go down to my document palette, which is the colors I've been using in the document. I'll go down there and I'll highlight the blue one. I'll hold my Control down and I'll click on it, tap on it a little bit. It will mix it up and it will begin to lighten. I think I overdid it, so let me just undo a bit. Yeah, and let me just highlight just the first one here and hold that Control and lighten it. You could also, you could add more meshes. Let's say somewhere around the center, you could double click and highlight, and then you could hold your Control and just mix it. When you hold your Control and click, you're adding little of the color to what you already have. And this doesn't look too cool. Let's highlight this one and mix. Okay, so looks almost good, but needs a little more touch. So hold Control and mix. And voila, you could also do that for this one as well. You could try that, but I don't know, looks cool the way it is, but you could try. You could try to maybe mix it with a little bit of white or a lighter blue, you know, just to give the water some shade, some light effect. So at this point, you notice that, let's take it back, you now see that we've actually generated the AQUA with the water effect, sorry, not whatever, with water effect inside of it. So we have this. And if you wanted to change the color, you could just select this, select the Q, select the U, select the A, and you know, just fire them up to white and introduce maybe like, and group them all, just Ctrl G, and then you can maybe add like a background, make maybe black, maybe give it black or gray, and then do Shift page down to send it behind, and then to center it to these ones, let's reduce the size of this. To center this, you select this one, you hold Shift, you select the box, you press E to center vertically and C to center horizontally, and voila, you're there. If you don't like this, you might add an outline. If you don't like the fact that CorelDRAW exposes a little bit of the background, you might decide to go for an outline. If you like, you just right click. That doesn't look good, so take it out. Shift it down to cover the space. That's too much. You know, you could do anything. You could drag it a bit. Not recommended. No, I don't recommend this, but you can. You know, and then you have that. So yeah, this looks cool. So this is practically how to achieve this kind of logo using CorelDRAW, the Aqua Logo. On a scale of 1 to 10, how easy was this? I'd like to hear it in the comments. So if you really liked and enjoyed it, what I want you to do is drop a like, and you can actually use my comment section to request for let's say tutorials you really want me to cover. I'll be more than open and willing to reply you and tell you when I'm going to be uploading those videos. And try or make sure you hit the notification bells. I don't post too much these days because of so many things, but when I do, rest assured it's something you're going to need. So till the next one.